It is Wednesday, September 20th. I think I did this right, except for the part that the music started again. What's up, Board? How is everybody? This is the Redacted podcast without Saurus. I know Board can't hear me right now. You can hear me now. I clicked it twice. How is everybody?
I'm good. I'm good. Now that I can be heard, thanks
Yeah.
to work.
No, you could always be heard. Like, you just couldn't hear
Oh.
me. How's everybody doing? Saurus is on vacation, so I'm taking over today.
Oh no.
Pretty excited about it.
It's like it's a hostile takeover. It's just me and Twerk now.
Yeah. No more Saurus. We actually kicked him out of Redacted.
Yeah.
We told him, go on vacation, have a wonderful, wonderful vacation, and then don't come back. No, just kidding. He's on vacation and he's just hanging out. Are people saying, is the Twitch sound just low? Everything should be fine. It's the same volumes as my normal stream, so I don't know. If there's any issues, just let me know in chat and I'll try and fix them on the fly. I don't normally run the podcast, okay?
Yeah, you can put your ears closer to your headphones. That helps.
Yeah.
Twerk is alive. Lots of people are happy that you're alive, Twerk.
Yeah, obviously throwing this all together was kind of difficult because of the whole hurricane situation. I got my power back just a week ago, and then found out that I was running the podcast just a few days ago. And the big issue actually wasn't Irma. I actually fixed Board. Yeah, I know why Board was low now. I fixed it. So the big issue actually wasn't Irma and my home. It was Irma destroyed one of the local casinos. The one that is in direct competition of myself and the casino that I work at. So now our casino just doubled in business, which is great. But I've been working nonstop every day for the last, X amount of days. So I wasn't super prepared for today's podcast as I normally would be. So I kind of threw everything together last minute. But hopefully
People
it's
like
good.
The rough casts, man.
I don't think
People
it's going to be rough, though. I actually think it's going to be pretty good. It's going to be better than our last one, that's for sure. But other than that, I've been through a hurricane. I've come back to streaming actually on my full-time schedule, 6 days a week. I didn't stream this morning because I worked 13 hours, and then we had this. I'm counting this as a stream, but I'm happy to be back. What have you been up to, Board? What's been going on with you?
Well, I've been really tired. My brother was in a little car accident. He's okay. He's alive.
Not so little, but yeah.
He caused quite a big accident,
Yeah.
it seems, because he thought he was having a heart attack. He's absolutely fine. I don't think he's having a heart attack. He had to be cut out of his car, which must have been scary, but he's not injured, and that's kind of throwing my life around a little bit at the moment. So I'm super tired.
Yeah.
I've had to be doing stuff that I wouldn't normally be doing, and I feel that my channel and my videos have suffered slightly, but it's okay because we're still waiting on 3.0.
Yeah. Still reporting on that 3.0 news.
Like, every week it's like 3.0, slightly closer.
Yeah, just slightly closer. But I guess we can kind of jump into it. Before we jump into it, though, Greyheaded Gamer was on Citizens of the Stars. So I just want to talk about that for just a brief moment, and just kind of say we love Grey. For those of you that don't know who Greyheaded Gamer is, twitch.tv/Greyheaded Gamer. Grey spelled with an A. Okay, Grey spelled with an A.
Spell it how you want.
Yeah.
Spell it how you want.
He's a really good guy. He's from Florida, like myself. He weathered the storm even worse than I did. He had some eye of the storm issues where I was to the east side of the storm. And for those of you that don't know about hurricanes, being on the east side of the storm is actually not very good either. So but this is Greyheaded Gamer. He's probably most known for originally his YouTube videos. Remember when he would do
Star Citizen Island?
Yeah, the Star Citizen Island videos, which are shown on the screen right now, and most recently known for Not So Sober Saturday. So every other Saturday on twitch.tv/Greyheaded Gamer, He brings a content creator, sometimes Star Citizen staff on, and just shoots the shit about Star Citizen. Has some drinks. I've been on there twice. Bored. You've been on
some
there, right?
drinks. No, well,
Well, you were
I've been
supposed to be on there, but you didn't show up, right? There was something like that.
It was 4 a.m. And it's like oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Gray. You're famous as well now. You were on Citizen of the Stars. No,
Yes.
let you down. It's out now in the open. Oh shit. Yeah, I let him down. I need to go on at some point if you'll have me.
I'm sure.
4 a.m. Come on.
I'm sure he would love to have you on. Yeah, so Gray was on that. Make sure you guys check that out. Make sure you guys check out Gray's channel. He's another member of Redacted who we love very, very much. But yeah, I think we could jump right into it a little bit. On this week's Around the Verse, their burn down section of Around the Verse, we got some positive news, I guess.
Well, yeah, it is positive.
Sort of.
But it's ninja news. It's sort of like, this is the news.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
Okay, so they basically, the ninja news, as I like to call it, is last week it was 76 must-fix issues.
Yes.
Yeah? Before we can get Evocati 3.0 Alpha Star Citizen into Evocati's hands. Bam. And that's not what everyone's to see. That's 1,000 people basically will get to see that. But they've got that 76 bugs down to 26 bugs.
Sort of.
And that sort of. So they ninja'd it in. So
yeah,
if you didn't listen to it properly, or you didn't listen to exactly what he said, or you just watched read the schedule report rather than watch the burn down, you wouldn't understand what they've done. They have fixed some of those 76 bugs, reducing it to 26. But what they've made, the actual thing they've done is they've shifted those bugs across. They've gone, let's focus on traversal, travel, landing, air traffic control, and everything like that. Let's get those 26 bugs that are to do with traveling ironed out, then give it to the Evocati, and then focus on the other bugs in sections for the rest of the Evocati builds.
Yes, and there was some confusion with what that meant. So specifically around what happened at Gamescom, right? Where Gamescom, they had a limited build of 3.0. They didn't have the full 3.0 build, right? Like they sort of did.
It was the latest 3.0 build, but it was locked.
Yeah, things were disabled.
Yes.
Now,
it was quantum travel, for example.
Yes, and to be very clear, those of you that aren't involved in Evocati, I don't think I'm breaking NDA. If I am, like, oh well, like it'd be kind of ridiculous if I got in trouble for talking about this. I think they've explained this in the first place. How Evocati works is, they either do two different things. They either lock certain features off. For example, like Star Marine, when they really wanted to test the 2.6.1 or 2.6 Arena Commander changes, they would lock Star Marine and say, guys, we need you in Arena Commander testing this, that, and the other thing. And we would all go in there and we would test it. But if they didn't lock Star Marine, I would have been playing Star Marine, you know what I mean? So they do that stuff sometimes, but they also just usually will say, hey guys, we need you to go here, do this, spawn these ships, do that, whatever, right? So for those of you that are not in Evocati, that's what happens. So that's what they're talking about. They're going to fix the bugs that prevent us from traveling and traversing the Stanton system as it is in 3.0.
And it's not just traveling like that. It's all forms of being able to move around on planets. And,
yes.
Maneuverability and stuff. So it's air traffic control.
Yes.
It's landing, takeoff, spawning ships. Anything that would prevent you from actually playing, I suppose.
Yes. And so they're going to fix those bugs, while I guess what they kind of said was set the other ones that aren't involved in those things aside. And in doing that, that's the whole point of there being an Evocati, is that they can trust the Evocati testers to test those things and not go outside of what they want to test. Because if we go outside of what we want to test, the server might crash, the game might crash for you. The testing wouldn't be as, I guess, constructive.
I feel that when we get the first build for 3.0, it will be very much sort of like go crazy, and then like an hour later, it will be like don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. It crashes the server. But it will be do what the hell you want, and what they'll do with the next build is that they'll be focusing. You'll see a burn down schedule for the next build,
Yeah.
and it will be for cargo and transport, for example. Their focus will be on cargo and transport, and they will fix as many of the Evocati bugs that they found in the Evocati build, and fix as many of the bugs that they can for the cargo and transport
Yeah.
build.
And
then
I'm,
give us another build and keep on like that.
yeah, and I actually meant to put this up on screen while we were talking about this, but I'll do it right now. Is Disco Lando also made a post on Spectrum where he said, "I've been hearing this from a couple sources, so I wanted to take a moment to clarify how this process works. Firstly, there is no special or separate build with specific features for Evocati. What we push to Evocati will be the most current build of 3.0 from our release branch that we feel is suitable for our immediate testing needs. What this means is like every Evocati build before it, it will still contain many, many bugs impacting the overall Star Citizen experience we hope to achieve when Alpha 3.0 eventually launches, but that the most pressing bugs standing in the way of testing specific features, so like Board mentioned, traversing the area, whether it's quantum travel, just cruise or walking around on a planet, or like you also said, like air traffic
Cruise,
control.
you're so old school. That's so 2006.
Like, you know what I mean, though? Like cruise speeds, like even you know what I'm talking about. Come on,
I know what you mean,
afterburner speeds or whatever now. But yeah, so they said for the most pressing bugs standing in the way of testing specific features we are prioritizing at the moment have been hopefully eliminated. Once this is done, we can push the build to Evocati and direct them to concentrated testing of those specific features within the overall 3.0 branch. Okay, so that. And then, as Aaron said, which is where things got kind of confusing, was as Aaron said in Burndown yesterday, we intend to sweep through the games through game system by game system, starting first with traversing between the moons of Crusader. So they're going to say, Evocati testers, go traverse through the moons of Crusader. Then they might say, okay, Evocati testers, we want you to test the cargo missions, or we want you to test the mission system or subsumption or whatever. So that's what they're going to do, and that's the whole point of the Evocati test is focused testing.
It's a weird thing because they're really fucking polishing 3.0 because they kind of have to. They want that game to be like,
yeah.
They want a big player base to come along afterwards and go, oh my god, this game is great.
Yeah.
But it's just so odd to polish an alpha like as much as they are.
Incredibly odd to polish an alpha. So that's what people don't quite understand about things.
Well, we don't understand either.
I do, but we don't, because it's still the only advertising that they have is the game, or idiots like us and their YouTube channel, right? So their YouTube channel shows practically zero gameplay, and I think when we talk about the mission system, I'm going to go into that a little bit because that was sort of frustrating about ATV this week.
Well, we'll talk about what they're doing in Montreal as well at the moment. Is it Montreal?
At what, like
Turbulent.
the guys are in at Turbulent?
Yeah. This week, 'cause they are literally
they're all there.
They're all there having a big meeting about the website revamp, about
community stuff, like a lot of things. Yeah.
Oh my god, updated website that's not full of lies. And
wait, like the redacted.tv website?
Page. No, actually,
the redacted.tv website is a website that is full of lies at the moment.
It's not. It's just the redacted website's been worked on for a while, but the Star Citizen actual website is just full of a mixture of old information, new information, and information in between. Only 5% of which is relevant, and it's just so aggravating because so many of the questions that people want to ask about the game are unanswered and have to be answered by the community. The community is pretty good for it, but it's just so inefficient.
Yeah,
just like, you'd save so much rage if you just update that fucking website.
Yeah, so it sounds like it's on its way at least, or if at all, they have the community team and other members out there to say, this is what we need, this is what works, this is what doesn't, and then the guys will get down on working on all that stuff, I would imagine. I don't know if
So good.
them being there means that the website is close to being done. Like, we have no
always
idea.
think stuff that's close to being done, because what we think is close to being done is pretty much done. And then they polish stuff for like 6 months sometimes.
Yeah.
It just. But so the ship stat page is so
Essential.
important. It's essential. It's so angry.
Can we
Makes
go?
me so angry.
Can we like go on a little bit of a tangent? So
Yo, please do.
did you watch Ben's Day this week with Batgirl by any chance?
I watched probably 10 minutes of it. Because I was given time codes to watch by people.
Oh, okay. I watched all of it.
I didn't actually watch the whole thing, and normally I watch the whole thing.
Yeah, I watched. Well, whatever. I watched all of it. Now, a lot of the questions were, asked on what about this ship, what about that ship, and what about the next ship, and I'm always on the saltier end of the discussion that we have, and I'm a little bit annoyed by the way Ben answered some of those questions. Now, Star Citizen is at the point of development where it's, and I've been saying this for a year now, at least, that it's about the gameplay. It's not about ships anymore. Okay? Now, how they make money is, yes, it's about ships. So don't, like, everyone's going to say, well, they need to make money. Okay, I get that. So, like, I don't want to hear that in chat. I don't want to see it in YouTube comments. I know they need to have income coming in. I understand that. Okay? I don't understand the point of if a community member says, hey, what's the next concept ship? Or, what kind of ship is the next concept ship? Why you can't say it?
Because marketing.
Why? What? Now, like, that argument would have to say, hold on, that argument would have to say that argument would have to be that if I said what the ship was going to be before we put it out, that it would cause the ship sales to be less.
Not necessarily.
Right?
Okay, so marketing is not an exact science. And in fact, there's a reasonable amount of bullshittery that goes along with it. Okay,
that's what marketing is, right?
It could just be Sandy or or a marketing person there that's just gone, no, we keep them secret. We hype them by keeping them secret. It doesn't mean it's the right decision. It doesn't mean it makes them more money. It's just someone's idea that they've just gone along with. That stuff happens like that all the time. You go, well, you should just be more upfront and blunt about it. Like, say what the next 3 ships are. Boom. Well, why not?
Why does it matter?
Why does it matter?
List. Yeah, exactly.
No.
Give us the list in order of when they come out. Why? How does it make a difference? You don't actually have to give the art of it away. You don't, because you probably don't have it at that point, right? You might not have the stats completed at that point.
And you can reserve the right to move them around if one's completed before the other.
Yeah.
Boom.
I just don't understand what the point
I've got so
saying,
many ship names in my head from when I go to ship tours, to studio tours, that I'm sure if I'm allowed to say or not, because I'm not sure if they've been announced or not. And it's really annoying.
Yeah,
it's really annoying.
It's just
I totally agree.
I'm just saying, like, I don't understand the logic behind it. Like, we can't talk about that. We can't talk about that. Can't talk about that. Can't talk about that. Like, why are you even there? Like that. Like, that's what I was wondering. Like, why are you even on the show? In Ben's case, in that situation, because you literally cannot answer a single question, because Batgirl's doing a great job at her job, and she's structuring the questions around what Ben does. Ben is the master of ships, or whatever his title is.
She is sometimes very good at getting something out of Ben that he wouldn't normally have said.
Yes,
she does.
She's great.
Every couple of weeks, she gets a good couple of gems out of him, which he's like, ugh.
I know, but why is he like that? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
So I occasionally put little emails into CIG, which are like this is the way I see the community. This is the way I see you doing things, and this is my advice from an amateur. But I have a nice, unique perspective where you don't pay me. I get to do what the fuck I want. And I think you should do this. But one of those things is very much sort of like, give us all the information about the concept ships. because the ones that don't affect Squadron 42.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
The next one is almost certainly going to be the X1, and then after that it's going to be the Game Changer. I don't want to have to keep on saying the Game Changer every fucking time, because
if it's that big, then I can see them being a little quieter about that, right? If it's something, here's the thing, because if it's a game changer, it involves a game mechanic, right? And and what I went with before was that the things that they need to be discussing with us now is gameplay features. They don't need to be discussing, wow, look at this 600i, and it's like, wow, it's like, it's beautiful. It's a cool ship. There was some drama around it. You know, it has some gameplay mechanics around it. But you should not have... That drama was good. For who? For your YouTube channel. It's not good for...
No. Because like, Noob and other people pushed the fact that, look, you're trying to sell us a ship. And they did then say that they will be putting a new Q&A out, and they will be addressing the issues, so it will have some minor transportation of VIPs and stuff. Yeah. So they addressed that and went, okay, well, we can't sell it just on its looks.
Fair enough.
We have to have a gameplay, which is great. That's what I like drama for. Like, occasionally, because literally fuck drama, but occasionally it gets something done. Okay?
Yes, and that's the best thing about, like, when people are like, open development, it's not open development. Well, you know, that sounds like pretty open to me in that situation where, you know, they didn't seem like they were going to do much, at least in the initial Q&A, that there was going to be much gameplay around the ship, right? It was like, ooh, luxury. And I don't know if I was on the podcast discussing with you guys about the 600i, but like, I discussed it plenty on my stream. It's like, luxury only exists in the real world. It can't exist in the video game world that well, because luxury is creature comforts, and you can't feel leather seats, and you can't, like, with all these, you know, very nice, beautiful cars, like, yes, they drive fast, or but, you know, they have nicer brakes or whatever they have, but the actual bells and whistles inside of a car, they don't translate to a video game necessarily.
I suppose what you'd want in the video game is for it to affect your reputation.
Like, yes, if I have this ship, I might it might open up different areas of gameplay to me, because I am a wealthy person, so maybe I'll get invited to a club of some sort.
Oh, okay, right? No, that's a good idea. Because I was thinking, with NPC crews and talk of survival mechanics and stuff, I was thinking, that with living areas, with mess halls, what they should do is they should reduce the amount your crew costs if you have living areas, if you have beds, if you have toilets, because they're more happy to work for you, and they don't have to spend money on their own food.
They want to be there. They'll take a pay cut to work on your ship.
Yeah. So if you've got an Idris, it's in your best interest to have creature comforts and rooms and mess halls and stuff for them, because it reduces your crew cost.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a smart way of doing, like, NPC survival mechanics. I'm not actually going to start on the survival mechanic thing, because we're both just rage. But
yeah, I mean, like, I'm not even going to rage that much about it. Like, you can even go so far as, you know, the type of food and drink that you have on the ship, they might perform better or something like that too, right? The creature comforts you have, they might perform above their skill level or something.
I don't know if I like that.
I have a feeling that's kind of the direction they might be going, is buffs and debuffs, but we'll see. I don't really want to talk about it until we know more about that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Because if they do that, then they'll start advertising. And you've seen in PUBG, they've got Red Bull everywhere. It would be like, you can have this drink, which that normalizes your stamina, or you can have some Red Bull, which triples it.
Yeah. Or you can take a massive amount of painkillers and, you know...
shoot faster, run faster and heal quicker, just like painkillers do.
Very weird. But yeah, so, like, I didn't really understand the concept anymore of hiding spaceships. Like, I do understand the concept of, we don't really understand fully how we want to do this mechanic, or not understand, but we haven't locked down exactly how we want to do this game mechanic. Let's say, for example, mining, or because I imagine even from the mining dock, it's somewhat changed, or exploration, or anything that they've talked about in the past. It's probably changed a little bit, at least.
Oh god,
right?
Yeah.
So
has to have.
they're not always gonna want to talk about those things all the time, but I think we're at the point in the game development where that's what we need to be talking about. So I think they're starting to get that. Like this week's ATV was about, choice and consequences and the mission system. Like the only Reddit post I ever made was about choice and consequences. Like there needs to be consequences in the alpha for us to play. There has to be consequences. There's not consequences, it's not enjoyable to play. But so I think they're starting to talk about that. Do I think that they did a good job of it this week? I don't think so. I don't know what your opinion was. I know we talked about this a bit before the podcast, where on your weekly update on your Reddit, you didn't even share any information on the mission system because a lot of this stuff was discussed previously.
Yeah, so typically what I do is on the ATVs, I separate them all out and put them into different shows and stuff.
Yeah.
And one of the things I wanted to do was every time they talk about a mechanic, update the mechanic.
Yeah.
Everything they talked about with the mission system, like 99% of it is stuff that we've heard before within the last 4 months.
Yes, they did give the tiny bit of extra insight, and I guess I'll just, put a video up behind us, just seeing a little bit more. But they did give us a little bit of insight on that they're either thinking about doing or already have it in 3.0, where if you're just kind of around and you're just traveling around and nothing's really happened yet, that a mission just might pop up for you. So you don't have to go to this place to get this mission. You don't have to just go to your Moby-Glass to get this mission. You might have a mission come to you in some cases, which I thought was pretty cool, and that's the first time I've heard of anything like that. But overall, I wanted to have this discussion with you a little bit. Again, I'm probably a little bit more on the negative side of things on this, but we currently have the ICC probe missions and the ICC probe missions in the 2.0, as well as the Comrade missions and the mission, like specifically missions where you have like pop-ups on your screen. We have the Comrade mission, the ICC missions, the Colex mission, and the missions at Security Post Korea. So 4 types of missions.
And the pop-up evil man. The criminal.
Yeah, criminal. The bounty.
Most wanted.
Most wanted mission. Yeah. Yes. So overall, from what I see of what they're telling us, because I'm a bit disappointed that they didn't really show us any sort of missions at all in this ATV at all. We saw this much video of a person going inside of a derelict ship that we've not seen them go into yet, right? So it was obviously a 3.0 derelict ship. It was something new. But I did not see a even remote portion of a go here, do this mission play out on this ATV, and I was very disappointed in that.
I think what they've shown at Gamescoms is basically
what they have
from that missions. Well,
I don't think so.
I think it's very simple, the mission system that we're going to have.
I think it's exactly what we have now, but randomized.
No. It won't be exactly the same. So
well, it's very similar to what we have now, but randomized.
Yeah. I mean, it will be pickup boxes. It will be assassinations, like go kill this pirate. It will be everything you've got with the Tessa missions. It will be a load of what we've got at the moment and some collection missions, and they'll be slightly randomized some bits, and it is going to be really fucking simple. It's going to be really fucking simple, but it is going to be better than what we have at the moment. I do also think there may be a couple of theme parky missions. I'm assuming.
What do you mean by theme parky? Like the
handcrafted missions that will be like.
Yeah, we know there'll be two that have multiple prongs to them, which is the 2 hero missions.
Ruto and Miles Eckhart.
Ruto and Miles Eckhart, yes. So we know that those will be more story, handcrafted type missions. They'll have variants to them, right? Because we saw the kind of chart that they had.
You see, I am more excited about the randomized missions. Because if they can eventually get that right, I know they have to build on it, and I know we're going to have a bullshit, really simple version in 3.0.
Yeah.
But if they can build on that, and they can make exciting, quite like, oh my god, I found some fucking great loot, or oh shit, that happened, or oh, let's do this mission because this is the way we farm this because this or this might happen, and it's fun
Like
to do.
every
that.
MMO.
If it's fun to grind,
Yeah.
If it's fun to grind those missions, then
Exactly.
perfect.
And that's what I'm hoping for. Now, the only reason that I brought this up is I still see 3.0 hype and like people typing 3.0 hype and oh my god, it's going to be so great, blah 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 blah. But the heart of 3.0 should be these missions, right? It shouldn't it can't be the ooh, look at that planet, it's so pretty. Because there's no we've all played Star Citizen from, at least you and I have played Star Citizen from beginning till now. And ATV, wow, it looks so awesome and it was fun. Or not ATV, Arena Commander. Wow, it looks so awesome and it was fun. Then we had 2.0. Wow, like the first time you came out of onto the landing pad. Holy shit.
Look at crashed. That. Trike, crashed again.
Yeah, but like ignore that part. Like how beautiful was it? Right?
It was beautiful. Amazing. It still is.
It still is, but you kind of take it for granted now, right? Because you've played it so much. So now you're going to go onto a planet and say, wow, that is so amazing. Look at that. Like, it's beautiful. But then eventually you're going to take that for granted too, because it doesn't involve any real gameplay. So the real base of everything has to be subsumption, has to be these missions. And like you said, if they're not fun, it's going to be 2.0 all over again.
It's one of the main core concepts that they need to get perfect. There's a few of them, but one of them is like the ship flight mechanics and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. The way you fly around, the way you move, the combat, the balance for that, the times to kill, but the general exploration on planets. But there's so much that they need to get perfect, like and genuinely perfect, or has to be so close to perfect.
Yeah,
it's a really hard balancing act for them, and they've set themselves quite a bullshit hard thing to do.
I don't think they have to get them perfect out of the box. I think they have plenty of time to get it perfect.
Oh yeah, but not out of the box.
No,
and like, it won't be perfect.
A year, 2 years, 3, whatever, because we all know this is going to be a while. Years down the road, they'll eventually perfect it. And if it's super fun and super playable, and we all love it, mm-hmm. Who knows? Right now, we all assume it will be great, but.
Well, so it's tangible gameplay. So 3.0 represents to me the potential for a couple of 100 hours of tangible gameplay before I'm then like, to work, we need to organise something to do on a planet. Any ideas?
Yeah.
Like,
that's when I start playing
Noxes into each other again.
Like, that's when I start playing Simon Says and like all those silly games. And we did like fashion shows and things like that on stream. Because like, what else were we going to do, right?
The other thing is that if they'd done the alpha, like I genuinely expected them to do back in the past, which was much more rough, give us their components, let us spawn stuff in the console, give us the rough mod making tools, we'd have people making bullshit stuff in the same style of GTA 5 for it. Like they'd be making race courses, they'd be making Nox ramming races and stuff like that. And that's kind of what I expected and wanted. I love what they're doing now, but it's just they're trying to make these polished products when they're not ready for it.
Yeah.
They're like, this is a release. It's a release of an alpha, and you hype it as much as...
There's way too often that they talk about the current game as if it's a completed game. Is like
as if it's early access on Steam, not free early access, which it currently is.
Yeah,
really.
like this wouldn't be early access on Steam. This would not be an early access game on Steam. No chance, right? So yeah, like I agree with that. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be patient. I'm totally fine with things. I really only brought this up because I think people are still really hyping everything, and in their minds that I don't want them to get disappointed and then hate the game because of it. Or hate the developers, or hate Chris, or hate us, or whoever, like anything involving the game because they set their expectations too high. Whereas, you just have to be realistic. We're going to have similar missions to the current missions we have now. They're going to be randomized. Things are, it's going to be different each time, which is going to be more enjoyable and more replayable. But it doesn't seem to me, and this is all just based on my own, I guess, views that I've from watching ATV and the information that I've gathered is I don't think it's going to be more than basic and simple, like how you described it.
I think this is a worry that we both share, and it's not a
Yeah.
worry. Well, it is a worry, I suppose. It's how long after 3.0 releases do we have to wait for more content to be added?
Well,
I know we have 3.0 yet, and we don't know exactly how many playable hours are in 3.0. But as you said, with the missions, we do think they're going to be relatively bare bone. How many hours can we get? But as soon as they start adding more parts of missions or more mission sets, that's a lot more gameplay.
yeah, I mean, and we know with 3.0 we haven't seen a mission involving it, but we know there is going to be a bring this cargo to this place and get paid. You know, that's a mission that we've never had before. That's a mission that's involved in every single MMO or most video games of a similar ilk as this. You know, that, and they're a groundwork. I'm trying to think of the word, but they are
At Gamescom though. At Gamescom, they kind of tried to role play that. They were like, "Go pick up this box."
Yeah, that's the thing, is
And
they
then,
tried to role
there's-
play
there's-
it.
Yeah, yeah.
know?
They don't show us the mechanics. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
It's like that. That's what we do when we play games or when we do stream. Like,
Yeah.
and let's have Starfarer fights that we've organised.
And it's obvious. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You're good.
Like, it's obvious that, given the fact that let's say the first Evo Kaido release, they kind of said they want us just traversing around. Well,
Mhm.
if cargo and the cargo missions were ready, that would be one of the things that they would have us testing, right? So if it's going to be traversing first, you know, maybe there's an issue with the Mobi-Glass, maybe there's an issue with, you know, the items, you know, going in your ship and coming out. Like, there could be all sorts of bugs and issues that are blocking that from even working right now, which is maybe why we didn't see it at Gamescom, right? We don't know what their plans were for Gamescom leading up to it, where they might have had to pull back things. Like, for example, CitizenCon last year. They had way bigger plans for CitizenCon than we actually got to see, because things just didn't work out the way they had planned them to, you know? So when we actually get 3.0, there is a chance that, you know, a lot of this gameplay could be fun, it could be interesting, and it could be really enjoyable, and there could be lots of hours of gameplay. But from what we know and what we've seen now so far, you just have to keep your expectations level of what it might actually end up being.
I don't know if I can keep my expectations level. I'm bipolar. Occasionally, I get really hyped.
Yeah. I try not to. That's all. And I imagine it'll be really fun. But that was a much longer conversation on the missions than I was planning on having. But yeah. The only other thing from ATV that I thought was kind of interesting, and I don't, you know, I was gone for a while, and I don't know if they mentioned this and I just missed it at any other points, but they talked about one of the bugs that they were really trying to nail down was this slow version of quantum drive. Their quantum travel, like, on the planets.
Yeah, the short range quantum travel jumps, because they want it down to 6 to 10 seconds max.
Yeah.
When you were doing approximate quantum jump.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah, and we didn't originally have quantum travel on planets, right? Like, they actually specifically a while ago said no quantum, like, you can't quantum travel from a planet to a thing, because, like, you'd be flying through the atmosphere too fast or whatever.
Yeah, you might have to get out of atmosphere. We don't know exactly how that's planning to be. You might have to get out of atmosphere to then go.
To get fast quantum travel, it seems. In atmosphere, you're going to have this slow quantum travel mode, because I think the planets are so big that, you know, in order to get to certain locations on the planet, cruising or cruise speed to them would take an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever, like a long time to get from one place to another. Well, so they had to have some sort of a system where you could stay on the planet, but travel on the planet on a relatively gameplay fun level. And I thought that was kind of interesting, and the fact that they are implementing that, because that's not something I've heard up until this week.
I think it's kind of important. I actually think that was something that they discovered relatively recently as well. Obviously, by bug fixing and making it now, but they've always talked about things zooming past. Oh my god, this planet is massive, or this moon is massive.
Yeah,
they needed to put something like this in, and I think it's a testament to we're at least 2 years away from a beta for the game, because there's so much stuff they've got to put into the game, because all the supporting systems for these major mechanics, some of these supporting systems haven't even been thought of yet, because they didn't realize they needed them.
I don't want to hype too high.
Okay, yeah.
But once, you know, 3.0 comes with the Delta Patcher and comes in with subsumption stuff, and they have the groundwork of being able to put these missions in. And that's one of the other things they mentioned in this ATV. Tony said it, was that now that this stuff is in, I can see other features coming online a lot faster.
Yes.
So maybe it's a year or 2 years, maybe it's 2 years, maybe it's 3 years, but maybe it's sooner, right? So it's hard. It's still hard to say, and I don't think it's our place to say, because we don't fucking know. But
we don't know.
But with the Delta Patcher and a lot of these systems coming in, who knows? It could come faster. I think we said the same thing with, in the past with 2.0. Like, we've heard it from them plenty of times where it was like, yes, we're building the groundwork for this thing, and it's always been the groundwork and the groundwork and the groundwork. Well, you've been building the ground for a long time. When are you going to get above the ground?
It's good. An underground secret base, mate. They've made.
Yeah, and I believe that's after 3.0. That's my true feelings about it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let me look in the doc real quick and see where we want to go next.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Spectrum,
like your
new release.
Descriptions of things. Yeah. That's what I was looking at.
Yeah,
It's
you
got
can
some
talk about that.
quality.
I don't spend much time on Spectrum, so if you want to hit on the Spectrum part, you're more than welcome to.
So they released Spectrum 0.3.6 in the ongoing push with Spectrum. Eventually, we're going to have voice over IP and all that sort of stuff driven by it. But in the shorter term, they're making it as much like Reddit as they can, apparently, by adding Karma was the first thing. And some people hate Karma, some people love Karma.
I hate Reddit so much.
Yeah?
I really just...
It's quite polarizing as a thing.
Yeah.
One
I
of
hate
the other things
Star
it tracks,
Citizen Reddit.
It's going to track posts by particular groups of people, so you can go devs, and then you can much more easily find their replies. What else does There's one other thing that 0.3.6 did. I can't remember what it is now.
Say that again? I just zoned out.
There's something else that 0.3.6 did that I can't remember now.
I don't know.
That's why I'm going to go look it up.
Yeah, but for me personally, I feel like you're going to get a lot of the please upvote my content on Spectrum. I feel like we're going to get a lot of check out my Twitch highlight guys from, random streamer with 1 viewer or random streamer with 100,000, whatever. I think there's going to be a lot of that crap.
Tracks your post count as well.
Okay.
So they've made it very similar. They're adding features of all the popular similar things for communication platforms, and that will stay there, get changed, evolved, or removed based on people's feedback. So if you feel very strongly about Karma one way or another, give them feedback on it. Test it out. See what it's like. Don't just rage at it without testing it, though. Maybe it works in certain situations and not others.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a great feature that you could implement per post, per thread, or something. Or maybe it's really awful. But
yeah,
that's the point of open development. We're supposed to have our say.
Exactly. You want to, before we go on to the next topic, I haven't done it yet. Exclamation point question in chat. Click on the link and fill out the form there. If you have any questions at the end of the podcast, we always just take questions about Star Citizen related things. Maybe just personal things about our content, our streams, our YouTube channels, or whatever. Throw some questions in there, and we will answer them at the end of the stream. We have Sunday of Doom in there. Thank you very much. Gathering up all the questions
Sunday,
and putting them in.
I love you.
Yes, I saw him pop online, and I was like, "Can you please help me with the questions? I'm overwhelmed." And he said he would. So thank you so much, Sunday, for that. But yeah, let's go on to the most cancer thing of the week: the $45,000 refund on Star Citizen. Fake news or real news?
Fake news.
Fake news. Oh, okay.
Fake news. I think every week, Twerk, what we should do is we should make up some Star Citizen news and then propose it to the chat and everyone. Is this real news or fake news?
We did. We made a fake news thing today where we said we kicked Source out of Redacted.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, but wait, we didn't make a fake news thing. Is it real news or is it fake news?
Oh,
we don't know.
No.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah, you just don't know.
So For people that don't know, Star Citizen is the target of trolls and bullshit and
Yes.
fards and people that just hate it because internet. Someone go, "Oh, I'm a Christian. I hate you because
Yeah.
internet. I like Star Citizen. I hate you because internet." It's just irrelevant a lot of the time. Some stuff is organized into little trolley groups. Some stuff is just random people being dicks.
Yeah.
And one of these things that happened was there's currently a push of a narrative which is you need to get your refunds from Star Citizen because the game's going to explode and be worth nothing and it's all going to collapse as a studio.
Yeah.
And one of these people that pushes that narrative pretended that he had got a $45,000 refund, posted pictures of that refund up.
Which I assume were shopped.
Yeah, so they put up some information, they put up a video and everything, and it was all faked. It was all shopped or faked or whatever, however they did it, however they only showed little bits of it, because they did obtain a refund. That was not fake.
No.
But their refund was for $330. And not the 45,000 as they previously said. And then they deleted their Reddit account straight after that. As soon as they CIG literally responded. CIG responded within like 18 hours, which is fucking great of them.
Yes.
Like, they identified it as a problem, and they dealt with it.
Now, the issue that I have, and I guess this is like, there's really almost no point in talking about it, because it's just like what the media is now today, is like Ars Technica and like all these other websites like reported on this without ever talking to CIG before posting the article. Right?
So
they're like, well, on Reddit, there was a $45,000 refund. And it's like, well, CIG hasn't said anything yet, so how do you even know? Like, what are you just believing what everybody says on the fucking internet? Oh,
So
you know what? I have a 12-inch, baseball bat.
Okay. Shall I report on that?
Yeah, go report on it.
Can I report on it?
Like,
I think that so there's two major types of news that kind of come across. It's the speed news, which is I need to report on it as quickly as possible, and I'm talking about content that effectively that me and Noob create.
Yeah.
So there's some content you want to report on as you hear it. You go bam, 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 and that's what like Ars Technica did with the $45,000 refund, and what some of the other publications do about what could be seen as bullshit news when it's proved to be false or incorrect. But it's not their job necessarily all of the time, and I believe. And don't necessarily believe this. This is very devil's advocate to check the news as they report on it for that particular type of thing. They do print retractions,
which they all did.
Which they all did, which was very good of them because they did it very quickly this time. I very much believe, and I'm not. And this has nothing to do with Gamersgate or any of that fucking bullshit. I very much believe that people need to have a bit more fact checking, a bit more looking into understanding their whatever they're talking about. They need to do some research. They need to look at the game. They need to look at similar things. They need to look at other people's articles of a similar subjects, and they need to make a bit more effort to check the fucking news before they print total bullshit.
Yeah.
But I do understand the need for them as outlets of news to sometimes print stuff really quickly. And sometimes they do good articles, but not the quickest ones. Those are the ones that are researched and take time. The speed news is fucking such bullshit.
Star Citizen streamer promotes violence with baseball bats. That's the title that I just saw in the chat.
Fuck's sake.
I love you guys. So, yeah, I mean, I thought that was pretty funny. That was like kind of the hot topic of the week, I guess.
We're gonna get this with the Star Citizen every month, especially towards the end of the year when Star Citizen has lots more exposure because of Gamescom, CitizenCon, anniversary stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna get a load of fake news. You're gonna get a load of bullshit, sort of like, oh my god, this guy did this and he was in the Star Citizen community, and I heard that he also slapped a child. That must be because he's a Star Citizen backer. It'll be really obscure things.
Yeah.
Just be aware of that, because
what's good with me is they're gonna be like, wow, he said he was eating healthy, but I totally saw him order a pizza today. Like, I don't do anything interesting, so good luck trying to get anything on me.
And I actually think it's unfair what I'm saying with media outlets, because it's not to media outlets, it's particular journalists at those media outlets. You get some fucking great ones. You do get, and I prescribe to some very, very, very good journalists, even with some of the more trashier, that are known to be the more trashier kind of outlets.
Yeah.
Some of them have got some great journalists. Just be aware that some people talk bullshit, like me and Twerk. Woo!
Yeah, but even with us, I think one of the goals that we always set out with the whole group of Redacted and the podcast in particular, and hopefully the website. I know it seems like fucking fake news, but it's like moving. So, the whole goal with those things with us was always to be the most informed and the most professional and the most knowledgeable and the ones that check the facts and stuff.
Was it?
Yeah. So.
Okay, cool. Yeah. That's cool. I'll update what I'm supposed to be.
Yeah. So, the other thing was they gave some details on CitizenCon, and I have this up on this.
So little teaserette.
Yeah. So it has certain sponsors. So I think some people are thinking that we might see some consolidated Outland ship, a new one. Do you hear Lola crying in the background?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna let her in. I'll be right back. Just go ahead and talk about CitizenCon for a second. I'll be back in like half a second.
So the CitizenCon tagline this year is exploring new worlds, and they've got various sponsors: Consolidate Outland, Compass, the UEE Diplomatic Division, and someone else, Aegis Dynamics, I think. And it looks like for CitizenCon this year, they're doing an all-day event from 12 midday UTC in the Capitol Theatre in Frankfurt, which is weird because they've not done an all-day event before, really. As one that's going to be like interactive for the people there, and I think that's all going to be streamed live. And as it's exploring new worlds, are we thinking that they're going to be
jumping?
Wait, there could be lots of stuff, couldn't it?
It could be
we
anything.
Might see aliens.
Yeah.
We could see more biomes. We could see, we could see jump points.
And this is the way they should have been doing things all along: is leave it more open-ended. Don't say this is what we're doing at CitizenCon and then maybe not be able to do it, which is what happened in the last CitizenCon.
And that's almost happened again, because some of the devs were talking about what they wanted to do to Crash Corps, and Crash Corps did a video on it, and then that video effectively got asked to be taken down, I think.
Oh, really? I didn't get to see any of those videos, unfortunately.
Yeah, so they did a video where they talked a bit about what they potentially would see at CitizenCon, and they talked about was it this one, was it this, and was this, and they told them details of what they'd like to do. But then that video disappeared, and a new one came out just saying nothing at CitizenCon is set in stone yet. That's what the retraction said.
Yes,
which is fair enough, because they reserve the right to not hype us too much.
Yeah, and at Gamescom there was an interview with Chris where he said, "I'm not going to say we'll show Squadron 42 at CitizenCon because I got in a lot of trouble for it last year." But basically, he's saying that he'd like to show it, and hopefully he'll be able to, like that. But he said I got in trouble last time, so I like this way of doing things where it's an in-lore thing. It leaves it really open-ended, and we get to guess what we're gonna see, and then we get surprised when we do see it. Now, leading up to CitizenCon, what do we have, about a month now at this point?
It's the 27th of October.
Yeah, so like a month and a half.
Month and a week.
Month and a week, yeah. So I imagine leading up to it, we'll probably hear more than I would like us to hear, maybe. I would personally rather just it be something similar to this and leave it open-ended, and you get to get really excited and enjoy what you're gonna see. I think on Ben's day, Batgirl thought that maybe Consolidated Outland would be the game changer ship, and Ben like, Do you know what Compass is?
So Compass are
it's a
magazine.
Okay. I'm really interested in that. That's like, yes, the mission system is a groundwork. We talked about that earlier, but exploration is one of the biggest pillars of what the game is going to involve. And no matter what you do, you will be exploring some space, right? You're going to be, and not just space as in space, but like a building, a ship, a planet, a moon, a star system, a universe, whatever. You're going to be exploring something. So I'm really interested in seeing if they do show some of that. I think that would be amazing. Really, really excited to see that.
I mean, I still want to see that Squadron 42 vertical slice, but
Yes.
they might have marketinged it and like be like, well, we're going to release Squadron 42, then let's do the vertical slice a month before or something. So we don't know if we're going to see that vertical slice now at all. Well, not at CitizenCon. We don't know.
Yeah,
we don't know.
I mean, we can guess that. We can make an educated guess that they would like to show something Squadron 42 related. That doesn't mean it will necessarily be the vertical slice, though. Right?
Yeah,
so,
indeed.
I don't know. Pretty cool. Exciting. Are you going to Citizen?
I'm planning to go, but as I said, brother car accident. It's affected my life a bit at the moment. So,
yes.
Assuming I can get the time off effectively, then yes.
I purchased my ticket. Austin.
Okay.
So I will be going to VerseCon.
Cool.
I haven't purchased
so
my
VerseCon for people that don't know.
I haven't purchased my ticket for VerseCon yet.
You
No, you go ahead and tell them because I'm gonna bring.
You go ahead and tell them. You're going.
Yes, but I'm gonna bring up the.
So VerseCon is basically a big bar Citizen, which is also going to be sort of run alongside CitizenCon. They're going to be watching the stream live, and the idea is if you can't get to Frankfurt, but you can get to Austin for VerseCon, then go there because it'll be cool. You'll see loads of backers like to work. Was it Joran and Paul Shelley that organised it?
Yeah, and
just assumed Sophie Girl as well.
Like a lot of the test guys I saw were really involved in it. I can't find the. Oh, maybe.
I'm trying to find it as well. I've got the link somewhere, but.
Got it.
Cool. You should, chuck it in chat as well.
Yes.
So people can see.
It is versecon.com. So, yeah, bring it up right. So it's a Star System backer created event. What I don't know much about it at all. I actually haven't picked up a ticket. I haven't really looked into it. I am going there specifically because I need to get out of Florida. I want to visit my friends. I have so many friends that live in Austin now between, Proxys and Blast and, Tyler Wicken, I consider a friend now, very, very much now that we've spent some time at some events. This reminds me a lot of CitizenCon, that German event that they did.
Oh, yeah, the big German event.
I don't know much about it, but I would imagine that's what these guys are trying to put together. I know they have like a Twitch stream and a Twitter and all that stuff. So I think it's twitch.tv/VerseCon, Twitter @VerseCon, I believe. So you can.
It's a 2-day event as well. So it's
yes.
on the Saturday as well as the Friday. They're going to be doing Zerka's Paul Shelley's Captain's Table there live. They're going to be playing some competitions with Arena Commander and Star Marine tournaments. There's cosplay. I love these kind of events like that are like BritismCon, that are like SitCon, that the fan-led, quite big events that have got a lot going on. Because how many other games do you really get that do that?
I don't think there's any.
Yeah.
Type of thing. The Star Citizen community is so different, which is why we love it, right?
They're typically older and wealthier than other gamers because they're normally older people and IT professionals, and typically, obviously not everyone.
I am an older professional person.
Yeah, it kind of appeals to that
I'm
that
not.
kind of people. You are.
I'm older, I guess, but I'm not professional by any means. So the tickets are on sale now. They're $50 for both days, or a single day for $35. October 27th, 28th at 311 East 5th Street, Austin, Texas. All right. So I am planning on going.
Did that poster.
Jaylee made the poster. All right. Jaylee made a lot of the art for all their promotional stuff and all that. So pretty cool. Event agenda overview. Here, I got this. Is Friday, October 27th. Doors will open. Registration starts at 12 p.m. Approximately 2 p.m., we'll begin the live stream of Cloud Imperium Games CitizenCon, followed by Paul Shelley's Captain's Table Talk Show. Bar and gaming machines will open until late. We can hang out and play some games there. That's Friday. Saturday, live stream of VerseCon, Star Marine, and Arena Commander Open tournaments. So they're going to have some tournaments there and live stream them. And, just activities and fun things like pictures here. These were all from CitizenCon last year.
Oh, really? CitizenCon pictures, are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
So should be pretty cool. I am planning on going. I cannot wait. Should be fun. It will be my first flight in a while. I'm kind of nervous about that because, as some of you know, I really hate flying. But I haven't even let anybody know that I was going. This is the first. A lot of the guys like Paul and some of the other guys organizing the event were like, "Are you going?" I don't know yet, so we'll see. So I'm definitely going. And I'm excited. So I'll let them know and see if they want me to do any panels or anything, that kind of stuff. If they want me to be involved in anything, I am more than happy to have some fun and
whoring yourself off.
Oh,
if anyone needs any help with the panels while I'm there.
I don't give a shit. Like, coming from you, the biggest vampiring evil empire.
Whoa.
Yeah, so
the Sith aren't all bad, dude. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. Should be pretty fun. It for that sort of stuff. So I think we can.
Oh, we've got a boatload of questions.
Do we? I don't have the questions doc up yet. So if you want to start on the first one, you can.
Yeah, I will.
Actually, I'll let you take over.
Towards me.
I'll let you take over the question stuff. You can ask the questions and.
That's cool. Well, I'll answer this one first.
Okay.
In a video of boards, he said you need a 16-core CPU to play Star Citizen in the future. Does that mean no one with an £800 PC will be able to play Star Citizen? I'd love to get this game, but I can't afford a $5,000 PC.
Yeah.
First off, 3P1C Gamer, good job by using both pounds and dollars in a question. No, so in that, unless I misspoke, in that video where I've talked about how many cores that Star Citizen will support and stuff, I believe that Star Citizen in the mid to long term will scale up to 16 cores if they start supporting multi-threading properly. That was because at the moment games don't really do multi-threading, and I was trying to make a comparison of why would you buy a Ryzen or a Threadripper if you weren't doing certain tasks or these tasks, and single core performance is quite important for gaming at the moment. So all I was saying is that it might scale up to 16. You don't need a 16 core processor to play Star Citizen.
What you do?
You'll be fine on quite a processor. You just need to work out what your bottleneck is, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You just need like an £800 PC is great.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Will you abandon your ships and live life Mad Max style on Daymar when 3.0 launches? That's to both of us to work. Daymar is my favourite planet, or moon.
I think yellow's mine, but
Really?
What does he mean?
Okay.
I've seen Mad Max. What does he mean Mad Max style?
I suppose just driving around.
Oh, driving around.
I suppose we probably will be at some point driving around murdering everyone.
I will spend. Out of all the content creators, streamers, and everybody, I think I probably will spend the least amount of time going around and saying, "Ooh, look at that," and just saying.
How do you find each other?
I don't know.
Party, wouldn't you?
Even if you party, how are you going to find each other? I think it's pretty simple. You quantum travel from the same location to the same location to the same location. You know, like kind of what we do now. Sort of how you find Grimhex. I would imagine it would be something similar to that. But what I think I'm going to focus on as soon as 3.0 launches is the core game mechanics that have been put in, the mission system, the cargo trading, what the best routes are, what the best missions are, how to make the most money, like those kind of things. I think I would focus on more than anything, because I think the look around ooh pretty stuff, there's plenty of fucking time for that between 3.0 and 3.1. You know?
Okay, yeah.
That's just my opinion on things. Super Black 12 asks. Oh, go ahead. You didn't answer. You want to answer that?
I did answer. It's all good.
Okay.
I mean, with 3.0 and stuff, I'm just worried about how you're going to find each other if you do just drive around aimlessly, because they're so big. But
yeah, we'll see. We're not going to have the beacon system in for 3.0 yet, are we? That's a later thing.
No, and the only thing I can think of that you'd get fight people is when they do the counter missions. So it'd literally be that's the only time you're going to see people is if they go, these missions are near each other, or they just try and force missions all in the same area.
Well, I imagine there is a somewhat limited number of, I guess, with for lack of a better term, like hero locations on the planets.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people will eventually easily know how to get to them. And it'll
Okay,
be like
yeah.
it'll be like, oh, go to Crater, or like let's just use PUBG as an example. Go to school, go to Crater, go to Ferry Point or whatever. And yes, those are easily distinguishable on a map in that game, but I think people will make names for certain locations, and people will sort of know how to get to them relatively quickly.
Maybe. I hope
Maybe
that's the case.
it's a very big maybe. I hope that's the case as well. I'm sort of optimistic for that because we're gamers and we figure stuff out really easily, right? Very, very easily and quickly. So, Super Black 12 asks both of us: is there any news on an Avenger rework? I feel like this little ship has been left by the wayside.
It will get materials updates, but I don't think it's getting a full rework or anything.
Yeah, so anytime they talk about rework, guys, it's not the Cutlass rework every time. The Cutlass rework happened because there was so much drama, disappointment in the way the Cutlass came out. The Aurora rework, the Hornet reworks are very different from the Cutlass rework, and they're very minor. They're, like you said, material stuff. It's to bring everything to the same quality, but also the same resource hogging level, I guess.
Yeah, the levels of detail get reworked and stuff like that. And
as the other
everything gets put up to the same standard.
Yeah.
You do get a little tiny bit of model work sometimes where they do tweak bits of the model, but again, very minor.
Yeah, and Matt Sherman's here in chat. How you doing, Matt? He said it's always a case-by-case evaluation over exactly what any ship needs when it's being reviewed internally. So the Cutlass got a very different thing than, for example, maybe the Hornet and the Aurora got, right? The Aurora got a pretty nice artistic upgrade, I think, and the Hornet really just got materials.
I'd be interested to see what they do with the Redeemer eventually. Are they going to reconcept it, or are they going to do a Cutlass level rework?
I would say don't even bring that ship up, because there's just like everybody just gets angry every time you bring that ship up.
They do.
Because they spent $250 on a ship like forever ago, and there is no hope in sight of when they're going to see it at this point, because it's just like silence about it for the most part, right? Hard to. We got some stuff recently.
I think I'm going to be waiting longer for my Endeavour to be ready, to be honest.
It's a big, big ship.
Yep, with a lot of different science roles.
Yes, and are those roles important? Now, we have things like, not important, but is it the roles that they are set on getting out early, prioritizing? Yeah. Probably not, right? But we do have ships now that have roles and no gameplay involved with them. The Herald, Starfarer, I mean, the Starfarer is going to get some gameplay now with cargo hauling, but it can't gather fuel or refuel a ship yet, and that's its main
I quite
feature.
enjoy the Herald as a ship to play around with, actually.
I do enjoy it, but it just doesn't have its main features that came with it. I love the Herald. I have no plans of getting rid of it at all.
I can't imagine me loving the Prospector in the same way that I love the Herald until it has its mechanics.
Exactly, because the Prospector sort of just kind of looks like a freelancer, probably flies like a freelancer, and
it's just there. It's just kind of there.
Unless I can mine on a planet, I don't. And this is coming from
3.1
from me.
Before mining.
Me and you, we both are. I think we're going to dead set on mining as our main.
It's economy and industry in general.
Yes.
But
we always talk. You and I always talk about mining operations. Like, it always comes up. So I think even deep down, I think it's what we really want to do.
Let money roll in. You can chill out once you know what you're doing, and you can do it well.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be hectic all the time.
Yeah.
Mining's fun.
When this is from Devoyus09. This is one thing Source is really good at. He fucking says everybody's names like perfect. He said, and I have a really hard time with it. Javoyus09 says to all of us, when will we see things on the Genesis Starliner? That's not a question you can ask us. That's not a question you can ask the guys from CIG. It's unfortunately it's when we see it, And
see, I'm excited for the mechanics for people transportation, for VIP transportation, and for and like that kind of airline business. Because the idea of owning your own business in the game, that sounds awesome.
Hmm.
Even if it's just the Starliner stuff, and just that slightly odder job of making sure everyone's happy on your ship,
Yeah.
and that sort of things.
The
I
drink
really like that
mix
idea.
master, whatever it was called.
Yeah, yeah.
Just
Some of the
weird and
original,
different.
yeah, some of those original design gameplay documents they did was like really piqued my interest. And we know they're not going to be exactly the same as to that. They might add stuff, they might move stuff around, they might remove stuff. But I like the fact that even that like outlying job, that edge case job, that they had ideas for it. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's cool.
This
I
one's
don't
to
know
you,
when, though.
Board Gamer from Kelby Martin 77. Says any more news or updates of the AI system for manned turrets?
Not really, other than they've talked about having AI modules in some of the ships, so that you could fire turrets, which would be different from NPCs.
Mhm.
They haven't fleshed that out anymore, though. We know that they're improving the turret experience in general for 3.0, but I don't think we'll see AI turrets in 3.0 at all. We might see the first implementation of AI turreted kind of things if they're defending landing zones in the future. But we don't know too much about them at the moment.
Sredni for Board Gamer. A lot of folks are talking about December now for Live 3.0 release. Do you think we'll be waiting that long or longer?
No, I think it'll be done
This week's
much sooner
update.
than that.
Yeah, I mean this week's update really tells you that they're really pushing for soon.
So yeah, I saw on Spectrum on the chat or whatever that as of Tuesday they had only had 21 must fix bugs left. Obviously that can go
Of
up
the
and down throughout the week.
what were we at,
Of the
26?
26,
So they
the
dropped a few.
26 they were at 21 on Tuesday.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, that can obviously go up or down. You never know,
Mhm.
but
But I suspect, because the way they're focusing on it, it's much more likely to come down than it was, because it would have to directly affect transportation and transit and travel to actually make that bugs list again. So.
yeah. And this is from Mickey Master Chief. Cool name. This is to both of us. Do you expect that eventually the Star Citizen universe will develop an economy as in-depth as Eve's? No.
It's going to be different. So
It's going to be different. I'm gonna bring up, while you talk, I'm gonna bring up the economy YouTube video. I'm gonna post it in chat. Hopefully you're still here.
I think it's going to be more simulated than Eve's. Like Eve's is very much it's entirely player driven. So
yes, so it's going to be very different in that case.
Yeah. So Star Citizens isn't. We represent 1/10 of the active population as players, basically, and there's a lot going on there, and they can fake a load of stuff as well if they need to.
Assume that he doesn't know what the 1/10 means. So, like, because he's asking that kind of question, assume that he's probably new to the project, right? Where most MMOs, all the players control the economy. This one is simulated on a box at their offices. It's going to simulate the economy all over the universe in the areas that you are, but they're in the Star Citizen universe. There's plans. They've been saying this for years, that there's going to be 9 NPCs for every 1 human player. So it's going to be really hard for you to affect the economy greatly, because there's that 10-to-1 difference where the economy is going to be running itself normally. It's going to change and it's going to be dynamic, but no single player or single group of players should be able to massively affect the economy. I've never played Eve, but I assume like the way they've done in Eve at times.
In my opinion, is that will it be as in depth as Eve? It's going to be different. Like Eve's entirely player-run economy is fucking awesome, and I quite like a lot of the way they do stuff. But we don't know exactly what they're going to do with Star Citizen's economy.
Yeah.
I hope it's as in depth as Eve. I hope that it has these awesome simulated areas, and I hope that because of the NPC stuff, that it makes the economy have more depth to it and more richness to it. But we don't know. We don't know how it's going to play out. Because I love the idea of manufacture. I love the idea of factory nodes. I love the idea of if you get food to a planet, it makes the workers work and build things. I love the fact that you have to move your materials around to planets.
Yeah.
Planets need more steel. They have to have missions to get steel to them. Like, I love that shit.
Yeah.
We don't know how it's going to play out yet.
The next question is from Drakagent. I think this is a good question for somebody who's relatively new to the game as well. Is looking to upgrade my ship from an Aurora MR starter. What's a good all-around ship that is viable in any playstyle?
Avenger? Titan?
Yeah, and what's funny is, we're talking about the Avenger getting left in the wayside was what one person asked, but I think it's a pretty decent all-around ship. But before I say that, I don't think you should do it at all. I think you should stick with your Aurora MR, and when 3.0 comes out, steal somebody's ship, whatever. Like, you're going to be able to eventually buy ships in the game, hopefully relatively soon, with, possibly not in 3.0, but I think the plans are for 3.1 for that. But we don't know how long it'll be until 3.1 is.
Buy ships in 3.1, they've said.
Yeah. So I would hold off personally. Start with your Aurora and go from there. But if you really are set on buying a ship, then I think the Avenger is a good choice because you get that bounty hunter gameplay or a little bit of cargo gameplay additional. Maybe wait and see what the Cutlass ends up being like, right? Cutlass is
$100 ship at least, though. And when 3.0 comes out, it might go up even more.
That's true.
$100 is a lot of fucking money.
Yep.
For a game. And so, if you want to play and test it, because really you want to fly the ship and fall in love with it if you're going to buy something else. So, play some Arena Commander now in your MR and get some rec and rent an Avenger, rent a 325A, rent some of the other multi-role ships. The Reliant, the Reliant Tanner might be relatively good as a combat ship. We don't know yet. It's supposed to be a skirmisher, but you rent them with rec now. Why not?
Yeah. Javoyus09, both of us, is a Retaliator rework scheduled, and would they add guns for the pilot?
People keep on asking me about a Retaliator rework.
Of course it's going to get a rework.
It's just going to get a materials rework, isn't it?
I mean,
just little updates.
Well, it's going to at least get a materials, right? Because it's one of the new material ships. So, of course, it's going to get a rework at some point. Is it scheduled? Who knows how far out they schedule things? Would they add something for the gunner pilot? We have no fucking idea. I think people honestly think that you work at the game. Or they're doing what Batgirl does to Ben, where they try and get you to say things that you've seen on tours.
It was a weird question. Everyone asked. I've had probably 3 dozen questions in the last 2 weeks, specifically about a Retaliator rework being scheduled. I just something been said that I didn't heard of. The thing that me and Twerk and the other content creators do is because we create content on this, we do hear a lot more stuff, or we watch a lot more content, or whatever. But we're a good net.
That's true. Maybe he's asking, assuming that you've maybe heard, because you do more research than he does. So I don't want to bash him.
Do we think that the slaves turrets are going to work on the Retaliator? Like, if you can slave turrets?
Yeah, because with items 2.0, that was one of the things they told us a long time ago, was that you should be able to slave all turrets to any seat or whatever.
So in 3.0, potentially, you may be able to fire all the Retaliator guns straight forward.
Yeah, potentially, but we don't know.
Potentially.
Yeah. Obsidian.
That's a great. Right. You can say the names because even though you say them shit, you still say them better than I do.
Obsidian. To both of us, do you think that the Merchantman will grow even more? I own one myselfie. See that?
I saw that.
But I am not sure if I could still operate it now with 6 people. Is it in the UK? I think it is, right?
It is in the UK.
Therefore, yes. It will get bigger.
I will say that Reclaimer and Banu Merchantman owners are going to be very happy with their ships. If they love their ship.
Reclaimer and Banu Merchantman. Yeah.
Yeah, because those are ones that I have gone, wow, sort of thing. So, yeah. I don't know if it's going to get bigger, but it's big, and it doesn't need to be any bigger.
No, but it probably will get.
It probably will, though. Yeah.
Strendy to BoredGamer. Do we know what patch we should expect the Razor? That's a really good question because it seemed really far along.
I think it's like 90. I think it's basically done. It would need to
Yeah.
go through a bug fix. That's why I was saying to Matt Sherman and stuff a while ago. It was like, is it possible that with the Delta patch we'll get ships a lot quicker? Like if they're like ready now and stuff? Because I think the race is pretty much ready.
Yeah.
But it's probably coming in 3.1.
Okay. And I wasn't here, so how did Matt answer that question? Like, you have to assume
So
the answer is yes.
So basically, the Delta patch isn't going to overly affect their patching methodology for big things. So there's still a life cycle to patches. There's still particular testing cycles and certain things that need to be in. So
But
don't expect every 2 weeks for there to be ship content or anything.
No, but in a smaller, minor bug fixing patch, you could possibly get a ship if the ship is done.
Well, that's what I think.
That's what I think too.
That's what I want to push. But Matt was very sort of like, don't expect that.
Fine, Matt. Don't tell us anything.
Curb my enthusiasm for that, so that's fair enough. But I will still push for that, even if it's unreasonable. I'm sorry, I'm very sorry, but I do want stuff like that in smaller patches more often.
Okay.
That might not be possible.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. The next question, and probably one of our last, like maybe 3 or 4 here, will be from Tim Ballara. And they asked, down the road, do you peeps think that CIG will and this is probably from a newer backer as well. Do you think CIG will introduce more ships to fill in various roles already filled by existing ships, but from other manufacturers? For example, Age is coming out with their own Corvette to compete with the RSI Polaris. What do you think, Bored? I think the answer.
I hope so. I love that idea. Like, that's the sort of shit that I really like in games, when they do lots of different variants. You get it in Eve, you get like, and the difference is that very similar ships, but one's faster, one's gone missile route, one's lasers, one's got more power or whatever. And I love that kind of variance. I think it's great. Yeah, I think they'll do that.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of already are doing it, and it's definitely in the plans. They want the universe to feel real. They want it to feel alive, and in order to feel alive, there's going to be multiple companies that make similar types of ships. Just look at the real world now, where the first thing that comes to mind is like vans. So there's like a Ford van that's very popular, like that you see in the United States, that every painter has, right? But now you're starting to see Mercedes vans and all sorts of different companies make these vans and compete in that market. I
suppose we've got the Nox, the Dragonfly, and the X1.
That's where I was going next. With the motorcycles, you're really seeing it. And with the fighter ships. And one thing where we don't really see it yet is with the manufacturing or the industry ships.
Yeah, because we don't even have one of each type properly yet.
Yeah.
Like, we still need a small salvager. We still need that sort of stuff. So not everything is in catered for yet. But I do expect to see another variant of like the Reclaimer, another variant of the Carrack, stuff like that. And I'm looking forward to it.
The next question we already answered. I'll quickly go through it again. When the Evocati testing, do you all have access, or do you just access for a specific job testing? So basically, are you allowed to play free without restriction? Sometimes you're allowed to play free without restriction. Sometimes they actually restrict what you're allowed to play, and sometimes they say, guys, can you please come in and help us do this? And they
stress test at 2 o'clock. We're doing this.
Yes, and for the most part, everybody except for me does what they ask them to do, and I do whatever I think is the most fun. No, I'm just kidding. I usually will hop in and help, but when Star Marine was out, I had a problem. I was having so much fun playing Star Marine that I was not a very good tester, to say the least, and then they closed Star Marine on me.
I think that's one of the things that I hopefully both me and Twerk want to do. This time around, I want to be a better tester. Wasn't awful before, but like people put a lot of work in.
Yeah, there's some really, really good testers out there. Shrendy, this is directly to you, Bored. After 3.0, it seems like the next big technological hurdle is netcode tech and server meshing. Have you gotten any sense of when they are expecting to accomplish that? 4.0 question mark.
I mean, that's a really fucking good question.
Yeah.
I don't really know. All we can see is we need to see object container streaming, we need to see bind culling, and we need to see the rest of the network optimizations that are coming after 3.0.
Yes.
3.0 will have some network optimizations, and on Quantum Questions, Sean Tracy even said that they've made big strides on the server end with server FPS, making the general FPS on the servers higher. So that's great, but there is lots of other bits and bobs they need for the network code that are coming in 3.1 and 3.2 before we can even consider when they'd have server meshing working. Like, they might be working on server meshing now, or it might be sort of like, let's get this done and then work on it. So they might it might take a year, it might take 2 years. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I will report on that as soon as I know more. Next time I have an office tour, I will ask a lot more about the netcode and the server meshing stuff, and I will find out.
And Sean Noonan's in chat, so we mentioned Star Marine, and he was like, Star Marine for the win. He was the level designer for Star Citizen.
Sean Noonan!
Yeah, he's out doing his own endeavors.
Bro?
I hope everything is going really well for you, and it's happy to see you.
He's a nice chap.
Yeah. We will answer 2 more questions before we head out. Since you saw the game-changing ship on your studio tour, I'm going to put you in the bad spot board. Do you think you will purchase one when it goes on concepts? It's not really bad.
So I didn't see the game-changing ship, as was clarified by Ben, but I did talk to some devs about the game-changing ship. And yes, I will buy one as long as it's not exorbitantly priced, because I will buy anything that is economy or industry based. That I go, that will be good for content. It's a big industry ship. Ben's already said that.
Oh, good. Okay. I didn't know. I was gonna say he said something. He said something. Okay.
Oh, fuck you, Turk.
Well, hey, maybe people didn't hear that Ben said that. The last thing, we are on my channel, and I tend to be a little bit more trolly than the other hosts on this channel. So this is from Zentar1S to myself. Do you, Torque17, think the Game Changer could be a Star-Kidden version of the Origin X1?
Fuck you.
Absolutely. That's exactly what it is. I know me and Ben are great friends. That's what it is. I actually have no idea what the ship. But yes.
So with the rest of these questions,
do you have any more you want to?
Well, no. Some of them are pretty good. There is so many.
If you are willing to go a little longer,
we can go a little bit longer. Yeah.
You want to go like 20 more minutes and pop through these?
Let's split the difference and go 15. Boom. So I can go.
Deal. No. Do you know if we will be able to create multiple characters under a single account or game package? Example, a law-abiding citizen character and a pirate character.
I don't think under a single package. I think you need multiple packages to create multiple characters.
But if you have multiple packages on the same account, yes.
Yeah, you need multiple game packages, though.
Yes. So under a single account, yes, but you would have to have multiple game packages. Well, I'll save this one for last. What are you streaming wise when 3.0 rolls out? We'll think about that one and talk about it later. Marcel Santing is, well, I think it will be so big that the core players will be more based on missions they create themselves. I think the organizations will be mission givers. Do you think so? ?
Yes, they're
partly
going to be player-made missions, but not in 3.0.
Yeah, not in 3.0, and partly that will be part of the game. Will that be the entire game? No. There will obviously be in-lore missions and missions.
Identifying missions that you can give to players which make you more money than you give them is going to be a really great business in Star Citizen. And that will be possible. That will probably be possible. So identifying stuff like that that's the sort of thing that excites me as well.
Do you think we will see ships that look like they were built from using parts from scrapyards, or bikes that look like Harley Davidson from Turbo Teen? We have this company called Drake Interplanetary.
No, so what are those pirates called? The junky ones, the ones that wear the horns.
Oh man, I think Chad will probably tell us. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Jay Lee made them.
Yeah.
But I think there probably is
scavengers,
the scrapyard reapery type ships and I think they probably have them if they are. There might not be, but I'd like to see junker ships.
Yeah, for sure. Who always talks about Disco Lando about his style is very much the used future. Shipjackers. Shipjackers. There you go.
Shipjackers.
Thanks, guys. Or the Reavers.
It's the Reaver. That's like Reaver type ships, isn't it? I call them Reapers, but
Yeah.
Reaver type ships. Yeah, that's. I'd like to see stuff like that. I think that'd be cool.
In which patch do you expect to have sufficient gameplay? Also, how many hours a week, a day do you plan on playing Star Citizen? That's from Rupture, who I always call Rupert.
It's really hard to judge that, isn't it?
Impossible to judge.
Mm.
How many hours a week do you plan on playing Star Citizen once 3.0 comes out? As many as possible, imagine, for both of us, until it gets stale. And the hope is that with some of the new gameplay mechanics with the Delta Patcher, that it might not be as stale.
Wouldn't that be good?
Yes.
Wouldn't that be nice?
This is to you, BoredGamer, from GW SARS 37. How many planets, moons, asteroids will we be able to land on in 3.0? What do you think? I can't answer that question, man.
Well, we can answer it together.
No, you answer it.
Okay.
Because you know everything.
So, 3 moons, one planetoid. Delamar is a planetoid, which is basically a giant asteroid. And then you've got Daymar, Selin, and Yella as moons. There might be loads of medium to large asteroids out there as well, like Grimhex, that you'll be able to land on. So there'll be some other things around, and there'll be loads of points of interest. But those massive objects, it's just those 4.
And this is from Trueman832. Has there been any word on the do-over of the 600 IQA and whether or not they will briefly sell it again?
Nothing solid yet, is there? Just
well, they did say that they were going to redo it, right? You did say that, but about selling it again, nothing solid.
I suspect they will, because it makes them more money if they sell another ship and they go, well, we can sell this one again with LTI because we got it wrong the first time or something. They like money. Why not?
I don't think anybody would care. Probably. Shambles. What's your opinions on how ships fly in atmosphere? In my opinion, I didn't really like how they just seemed to float about and stop in mid-flight. Handwavium.
It's not done properly yet. It's so in the 3.0 demo that we saw on the at Gamescom, the ships didn't have weight to them. They weren't flying erratically like they should be. I want one of the things that happens in atmosphere, and there's going to be different gravity in different types of atmosphere, admittedly, and they were supposed to be on lower gravity moon, but still more gravity than space. I want, if you get hit like a railgun or a missile, that the risk is not that it's going to like damage your ship from the impact, but the impact will knock you off course and cause you to crash.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So I don't like the idea of you just being able to fly upside down in atmosphere like you can in space. There needs to be weight to those ships. They need to fly differently. The atmosphere needs to be, in my opinion, more dangerous than flying in space. And you need to feel that weight.
Absolutely. But we've never flown the ship, so we don't know if we can feel the weight. Everything you're doing is judging based on what you've seen. And the one thing that I know from like pre 2.0 is we saw a lot of the gameplay that they showed in that they had in 2.0. They showed it previously, but there was nothing like playing it. Right? So it'll probably be more fun than you think.
Okay.
This is from Guns and Glue. Do you think that the career timeline is still valid from last CitCon, as in the 3.1, 3.2, 3.3? I'm looking forward to engineering and was wondering when you think it would be out, since mining was almost in 3.0. I think you can. They haven't updated the post 3.0 stuff yet, right?
And we need it. We need that. We were talking about earlier about them being more transparent about talking about the concept ships. They need to give us regular updates with the longer term schedules, in my opinion. I want to know where all of those mechanics are planned to fall in. Like, what's planned for 3.1, what's planned for 3.2, what's planned for 4.0.
I think that's...
It can change.
I think that's somewhat fair, but when they're pushing 3.0, when they're crunching for 3.0 now, I don't expect it now. I think post 3.0, when 3.1 comes out, your first initial thing of 3.1 is, this is where we're at with the steps up to 3.1. Then moving forward, this is where we are, where we think things will be in 3.2, 3.3, and so on. I think it's fair to do it on the initial one, and then after that, it's crunched to the next patch.
Mhm.
Don't worry about the rest for now. There's a massive question from Tom CH to both of us. I think maybe we can like respond to that off stream or something. There's
We'll
like
message you.
35. Yeah, we'll message you. Like
Yeah,
35 questions.
oh my god. Yeah, well, look at that later. Jesus. Maybe next week. If we haven't messaged you.
Yeah. Sparks 1. It's been said that poison mechanic will be a part of the game in the future. How do you think this can be seen as a whole? Because I mean, of course, if CIG is implementing such a mechanic, it means that they've had a good talk about it, and it probably means that a lot will be done around this simple mechanic. Because I doubt they just randomly thought, oh, hey, poison is cool, let's implement it in game, and that's it.
So we're going to have different buffs and debuffs. We don't know exactly how they're all going to play out. We don't know how the environmental hazards are going to play out.
Mm-hmm.
Poison could just be one of them. There could be like dozens and dozens of poison getting slowed, cold, lots of different things. Could be a debuff. So I don't know how poison's going to exactly play into it, but there might be poison and venom and stuff for you get poisoned if you get hit by a plant on a planet, or you get venomed if you get bitten by a snake on a planet, and they have different debuff effects.
Yeah, and I'll just go ahead and with my answer, just kind of point to Matt Sherman, who's in the chat, who's a designer. He designs chips, but he can still probably answer the question in some form where, and I'll phrase it differently. If we're hearing it on ATV, which means it's been vetted to some extent, I imagine that there has been some sort of discussion about any mechanic, any design feature that is being mentioned on ATV. So if they're talking about something like poisonous atmosphere and how that will affect you, I imagine you guys have had some discussion about it, right, Matt? Question mark. And we'll just go on to the next question, and you can answer or not answer. Carlos R72 says, has CIG released something about the progression path to upgrade my Aurora MR to something close to an LN through playing? No, because you can't buy ships in game yet. So there's no progression path yet. So when 3.1 comes out and you can start buying ships, then you'll start seeing progressions, I would imagine. But I don't think it's anything that they're going to be talking about now.
So much balance from us as well. Like the community balance the shit out of how long it takes you to get that progression, how much it costs, or loads of stuff. So that's something I'm excited about, actually getting balance right. Yeah,
and then Matt Sherman pops in with, it's not something just being shot off for the first time on ATV, ever.
Cool.
Methodoc says, when do you think atmospheric flight will be available? Ships look weird flying in the atmosphere at the moment. In 3.0.
Yep, and we will get it. It will get better after that. Hopefully it will be kind of good feeling by the time it goes to a wider PT or live build. So we'll have to wait and see.
Ekrov asks all of us, will there be any kind of weather systems in Star Citizen? The potential is huge. I can imagine massive sandstorms on desert planets, earthquakes causing massive tidal waves, and spreading across the entire planet.
So there's going to be weather systems. Expect to see like big electric clouds, snow, blizzards, sandstorms. Yes, stuff that's odd with liquids like volcanoes and tidal waves. Probably not.
I'm literally bringing up the sandstorm from CitizenCon last year at the moment.
Fucking wind, yeah, it's
right?
Like electric sandstorm.
Yeah, so you can see that it already is there.
Now we haven't. Each of those moons in 3.0 is supposed to have their own type of weather and atmosphere and stuff. Like there's corrosive clouds on, I think, Yalla, and there's electric storms and like dust storms on Daymar. Whether or not we get them in 3.0 is another question entirely, because they haven't really talked much about weather systems in 3.0, but we have seen weather in the CitizenCon demo 2016.
Yep.
So
and I just
maybe
have it up on screen at the moment, so you guys can watch.
But you will have lots of different types of weather in the full game.
Yes,
and the potential is amazing. But the ones with lots of liquids and tidal waves or volcanoes erupting and stuff, much less likely, or at least harder to do.
Mm-hmm. Board, you can go ahead and ask the next question because the video is where the questions are for me.
Twerk, would it be possible as an org to completely take over a system, do you think?
No, I don't think so. I think systems are massive, and I don't know if you can put enough players in an instance at the most optimistic level of players per system to make a significant difference. Do I think you can block certain areas of a system from people traveling? Sure, of course. Otherwise, why would there be piracy in the game, right? But completely take over a system and place your houses there and say this is the redacted system, never. And this game would be a failure if that was a possibility, in my opinion.
I think in some of the less security controlled zones and some of the new frontier systems, people will definitely try to take them over. And it might not just be an org; it might be an alliance. But and I look forward to people trying to do stuff like that and seeing if it's possible.
Wow, Lola just paused.
She's a cat. She's got loads of paws.
So, yeah, to answer that, I don't think so. You can keep going on with the questions.
Twerk. My son Paul found out about Star Citizen and really wants to play the game now. From my research with my husband Michael, I saw there was big news updates, big updates coming soon.
Is this Enza?
It is Enza.
It is Enza. Okay.
Will the game get more expensive when the update's out? Should I buy Paul the game now for cheap?
If Paul doesn't have the game, I think you should consider buying the starter packages for cheap. But
just the starter package.
Yeah, nothing more than that. So and I don't. Yeah, and I think Paul would enjoy the game a lot if there's some role playing in the game.
Is this someone you know, Twix?
This is someone I know. This is somebody I've met. Yes, I've met Paul. I have not met Enza though.
Hello, Paul. Hello, Enza.
Next question.
Is it confirmed that we can paint our ships any color we want? I want a black Avenger and a black 890 jump. Will that be possible?
Eventually,
I think it will be. Yeah, but we've seen their skin system a little while ago, and I think you were actually at the event where they were showing it off.
Yeah.
And yeah, it looks cool. We haven't heard much more about it. I do think there will be extra skins to put on your ships in 3.0 as well. Because, yeah, I'm pretty sure there will be. But I don't think we'll have any form of customization of those skins yet. Or colours.
I don't know where you're at now. Keep going.
Do you guys think that subscribers will get some more ground vehicles to test as the ship of the month and stuff like that as 3.0 goes live?
Of course.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Of course.
Sort of stuff. Ship of the month this week is an Azarova. That sort of thing, yeah. Why not? Will we have e-warfare?
Yes.
We have e-warfare in the form of the Warlock. It's just not
fully implemented yet. Yeah. Poorly implemented.
That's just the EMP side as well. Like, there's going to be offensive, defensive, and a utility-based e-warfare. And I'm very much looking forward to how they flesh out all the systems. But you'll see, like, hacking missiles and, yeah, different ways to hack ships and turn off systems and disguising your signatures and things like that. That's the sort of thing we might see.
And the last question of the evening, Quasi Wabbit says, in the exploration mechanic of scanning or... What?
We did it, mate. We did it!
Oh, we did
it!
One. For some reason, I thought you were saying we already did the question. And I was like, oh no, I should stop. But it doesn't seem like we asked this one. In the exploration mechanic of scanning or for finding jump points, do you think there will be little in system jump points that we can map and sell as shortcuts around the system? That's what quantum travel is. I don't think so. So like mini jump points that you can get from, like, let's say Earth to Pluto, like, instantly.
Oh.
I don't think so.
No, I do think you'll find other jump points that aren't marked.
Jump points I think, will be specifically to other star systems.
Yeah, but you'll find you'll be able to place and find beacons though, so that you could potentially find better routes to places and monopolize like trade routes. Like, I suspect that some of the trade orgs will have very specific secret or special routes that they've placed with nav beacons to get the best deals. Let's go let's go this way to this way, and that you'd have to be part of that org or to scan them down or find them to use them. But I don't think there'll be mini jump points.
All
Oh,
right.
I've got sweaty bits. Oh no.
Me too. It's warm in here.
Oh no.
We made it. So
made
another great redacted podcast. I'm really glad to be back here. We do miss
No, it's
Saurus.
right.
Saurus is out
Hello.
camping.
Oh, he is, isn't he? He's
Yeah.
camping.
So for
That's
those of you
where he
that popped
is.
in and were like, "Where's Saurus?"
No one said that.
Yeah, nobody said that. He's out camping. We do miss him, and yeah, I had a lot of fun. I hope everything was okay. I do still have some internet issues, especially with Irma being around, so I imagine you got some buffering here and there, but it doesn't look like too much. I hope the audio volumes were good. I tried very, very hard to keep them even, but I hope you guys had a really good time.
You doing anything Star Citizen this week, Twerk?
No, I don't really know. I'm definitely playing more. I'm streaming more. Star Citizen wise, not so much. I did play some Star Marine and had some fun with that. It's just a pain in the ass to play in the morning on EU servers.
I think one of the issues with Star Marine is that you play Star Marine and you play it for a couple of hours and you'll be like, this is actually quite fun.
Yeah.
And then you're like, PUBG is more fleshed out.
Yeah.
And you just go back to PUBG.
But I tell you what, by playing PUBG, like I'm actually good at Star Marine now.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So that actually made Star Marine a lot more fun because I was like killing people. Oh wait, I actually know how to hit people's heads now. This is crazy. So I don't know. Yeah, I'll probably just kind of chill and keep playing and doing whatever. Just doing whatever. Do you have anything specific planned at all?
No, so I'm just trying to get back in the saddle towards the Friday on. I want to get back into the swing of doing videos. I've been really fucking tired. I've been just super overworked with bullshit in my life over the last couple of weeks. So I just want to get back to normal, get back into making videos and streaming a lot more as well. Like I've started streaming quite a bit more. I've got the stream all set up. I'm really happy with it. Doing some VR gaming and all co-op VR gaming, which has been really fun. But Star Citizen wise, I just want to get back to normal with it because I've been a bit tardy with my videos lately.
Yeah, it's just it's very difficult right now, and I think even the developers understand. It's been the same game for the last 10 months, so it's not super easy to like. I think Bored has a lot easier of a time because he can make a 10-minute video on a topic. While I know a YouTube video takes a long time to edit and prepare for, as a streamer, it's not easy to stream the same exact game that has a very small scope at the moment for 4 hours a day, 6 days a week, right? So would I like to play Star Citizen? Absolutely. I do try to mix it in. I would do racing. Now I think I'm going to do a little bit more Star Marine and just try and have some fun. But yeah, I'll do my best to, but it's not super easy to be on stream and enjoy yourself. And I stream because out of enjoyment. I know I would get more viewers if I played Star Citizen, but if I just streamed because I wanted people to watch me, I would go on my free cams or something and get naked.
Oh yeah, you just put like, ooh, I'm Twix17.
Exactly.
Ooh.
So
I'd watch that shit.
Yeah, I do it because I enjoy it. Just do what I enjoy. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. We are going to do a raid, so if anybody is, normally Saurus streams after this, so we just, pop on with Saurus, but Saurus is camping right now, so we are going to raid Detox. You can raid Detox. So I'm going to put his link in the chat if mods would just kindly spam it. Detox_TV. There you go.
Thanks for watching, guys. Fucking love you. I'll post. What have you done? Put it in properly, Twerk. The worst.
There.
I'll go give him some love as well. I'll post this in the YouTubes.
There you go. So I hope everybody enjoyed. And yeah, we will all see you later. Good, everybody.
Love you guys.
Bye.